Alright YouTube, we got an awesome video today, and this may be a two-parter because it may go over a lot of time and I don't want to spend too much time on each one. So, you got a lot of knives here in front of you. What we're doing a video today about the 10 best production knives under $100. Now that's a lofty goal. Again, there goes my phone. Without fail, right when I start the video, I forgot to vibrate or put on mute, it goes off. This is a hard thing to do because there's so many good knives under $100. These knives meet certain criteria. None of them are made or shouldn't say overseas. None of them are made in China. Most of them have a decent steel on them, not like super great, but some of them do have, you know, really nice steels. But so there's certain requirements I was going for in this, but these are all very classic models that, in my opinion, everyone should own, if possible. So we're going to go one by one, and we're going to start with the cheapest, and then we'll kind of go from there. Alright, so first, we're going to go from least expensive to most, is the Victorinox Alux Cadet, or Alox, however you say that. These knives are classic, and any kind of Swiss Army knife is going to fall into this category, but I really enjoy the Alox, that aluminum scales, the texturing, just a really pretty little knife. Very classic design, slip joint, you know, not going to have a lock. You do have more of a multi-tool almost. You do have your regular blade. You have your little, what do you call this thing? Your file and your like little, I call it the nail cleaner. It works good for that. You have your screwdriver and can opener. Small screwdriver also can be used as a Phillips. And you have your larger flathead screwdriver with your bottle opener and wire stripper. So multi-tool, knife, whatever you want to call it. Awesome design, classic, can be had right around 30 bucks on Amazon. Super lightweight, weighs under 2 ounces, and just a phenomenal little carry. Carry anywhere because it's so light. It's, you know, some places have laws against locking knives. Well, here you go. Here's a slip joint. So definitely an awesome knife. It can be had under $30. Everyone should have one in their collection. Next up is the Kershaw Skyline. One of the all-time most purchased blades, I think, out there. I'm pretty sure that everyone at some point, if you're a knife nut, has owned a Skyline. They're just a classic design. Very good size for EDC. Very smooth action. You can see I just flipped that open with no issues at all. This is actually a blend model that I got from Kershaw guy for very inexpensive. I mean, you're talking, actually it was technically cheaper than the Alux, but normally, or the Victorinox, normally these run closer to $40. So, but you can get them a great deal from Kershaw guy. He's got some blems. They're awesome little knives. They're pretty much, I mean, super ergonomic. Pretty much the perfect size for my hand, for medium-sized hands. Sandvik steel, so you get a little bit upgraded steel over your AUS 8 and your 8CR13 MLV. I really like the Sandvik steel. This is the 1428 CN, and it takes a really nice edge and it stays relatively sharp. So great classic design. One thing that's great about the Skyline is, bam, they come in different colors. This is the Coyote Brown with the black DLC blade. Limited edition, no longer sold. Actually very hard to find. So one great thing about the Skyline is they're very collectible. There's a lot of crazy Skyline collectors out there that pay ridiculous prices for this knife. I'm not one of those. I used to have a pretty decent collection of Skylines, a lot of limited runs and such, but these are the two I own now. And, you know, I'd like to acquire some other ones as long as they're not at outrageous prices because, you know, really, it's still a Skyline. So, still using the same steel, still using the same, you know, action. Everything's not different. But you can see how easily these flip. They're just a great design, great classic EDC. Pretty hard to beat for the money too. You know, if I tell someone I'm looking for a knife that's not, you know, maybe they're looking for a non-spring assisted, they don't want one that's made overseas, well, guess what? Made a little hiccup there, the memory card got full. But like I was saying, very few Kershaw models are produced in the US, and these two are one of them, or the Skyline is one of them. It's classic EDC. I can't find anything I don't like about the knife. It's just a great knife. Back to the Victorinox, not made in the US, made in Switzerland, but not made over in China, which is kind of one of the things I was going for in this video. So, the Kershaw Skyline. Move those out of the way. We'll go to the next one. the Kershaw Leak. Another US made Kershaw, very few models. This is the Blackwash Leak. I won't spend a ton of time on this one as I just did a video of this knife. But again, very collectible. The Leak comes in a ridiculous amount of options. Many different colors, many different limited runs were made. There's a lot of Leak collectors out there. And for great reason, this is a perfect EDC size knife. Just fits my hand perfectly. Just got a little bit of left there. It's a Wharncliffe blade, which is great for EDC tasks. It's got the speed of safe, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but on the Leak I really actually like it quite a bit. And the Blackwash Leak is my favorite Leak that I've seen. So, beautiful knife. Can be had right around 45 bucks, I think, is what I paid for this one. This is a blem from Kershaw guy. Definitely under that $100 requirement, and made here right here in the US of A. And it does carry Kershaw's wonderful lifetime warranty. So, another great option, the Kershaw Leak. There's lots of different color options, lots of different options. If you don't like the Blackwash, you can get olive green, you can get red, orange, purple for the ladies. My wife actually has a purple Leak. So great classic design. I mean, heck, it's been around for years and years, and Kershaw's still making these knives. So that right there will tell you how good of a knife this is. So Kershaw Leak. Next one is the Kershaw Blur. That's 3 Kershaws in a row. What do you know? These are all very classic Kershaw designs. Nice thing, these are all made here in the US again. This is the red model of the Kershaw Blur. Again, is a very collectible knife. It comes in desert tan, olive green, black. They had some carbon fiber variants that I used to have a pretty nice collection of blurs at one point. And sold most of them when I kind of got more into the custom knife scene, more into the production knives again, and I had to pick up another blur. It's one of my all-time favorite pocket knives. It's just, you can see this one is actually, yes, this is de-assisted. That does not have this torsion bar in it, as you can see how it falls freely. And if you get one of these and you like the torsion bar, great, but I gotta tell you, you gotta try it without, because it's buttery smooth. I mean, this is just as smooth as some of the custom knives I've owned, and that's saying a lot for a sub $60 knife. I think I paid, I mean, I got this from a buddy for super cheap, but Kershaw guy has some good blems. Amazon had a deal lately. These are selling for like $40. They make one in S30V steel, which is a great option. What I would probably recommend you go with. I just got this red one because my buddy was getting rid of it for a super good price. And I like the Sandvik steel. Same steel as the Skyline, the 14CN. 14C28N, I believe is what it is. And I might be butchering that, so forgive me. But great ergonomics on this knife again. Kershaw does a great job with that. This is a Canadian design. Very good ergonomics. It's a little bit larger knife. And I was contemplating on doing this video by size, but instead I just decided to do price. But it's still a great size for EDC. You've got the aluminum handles with the Griptec, is that what they call it? Oof, probably should know that. Yeah, Griptec inserts. So it's like kind of hard to explain. It's not like a skateboard tape. It's not really abrasive. It's more like a rubber. It honestly feels like a gun grip, like those Talon grips I just put on my Ruger. Kind of feels like that. So it gives you a nice purchase, good grip. It's got a slight recurve in the blade. It's got a nice satin finish on this one. They do make one with DLC coating. They make Tanto versions, serrated, have partially serrated. I mean, with Tanto tips. I mean, or Tanto grinds. Anything you like in the Blur you can find. So another great knife. Very affordable. Great EDC option. It's made right here in the US of A. Again, a classic model that's been around for a long time, and Kershaw is still producing them. So another great knife there is the Kershaw Blur. Alright, moving on to the next, which is the Spyderco Delica 4. Now, this is actually the first Delica that I've ever owned, and I have heard, actually technically that is not true. I do have a Delica 3 stainless steel old school knife that I got on a trade that was in beat up shape, and I've kind of used it as a project knife for sharpening and learned how to sharpen those kind of things. So, but I got the Delica 4 just recently off eBay for a stupid good price because the previous owner said it needed to be sharpened, so he sold it for cheap. And of course I have the KME sharpening system, which puts a nice mirror edge on there. I don't know how you can pick that up or not, but let's focus camera. It's got a nice mirror polished edge on there. Very, very sharp. VG10 steel is a great steel. It's surprisingly easy to sharpen. I mean, it's the first time I'm sharpening VG10, And it reminded me a lot of 8CR13 and OS 8. It took not that much time to get a nice edge on this knife because it was pretty much dull when I got it. And I got a nice mirror polish edge. It's very sharp now. It'll cut, you know, paper. Here's some magazine paper. And again, it's not very much, so hopefully I can get a good purchase on it. But nope. So it slices right through that. I mean, that was a teeny little piece too. And that's actually harder to cut than phone book paper. So it's beyond shaving sharp. Pretty much right where I like my knives to be. I could take them sharper with the KME, you know, get them like a hair whittling, but I don't really need that much sharpness. So, and it's a really time-consuming process. But back to the Delica 4. I've actually put the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 clip on here just for now. I like that it's polished, like the, you know, the lock back and the blade, and I just thought it looked a lot better than the ugly black clip they come with. That's like my only complaint about the Delica. But I was surprisingly surprised. This knife is smaller than I would normally like, I thought, but it's actually not as small as I thought it was, and it fits my hand perfectly. I mean, perfect. With that forward choil right here, or that jimping right here, put your finger right there on that thumb ramp, man, it's like perfect grip. I didn't think I'd like the FRN handles. I do like the FRN handles. They don't feel cheap. They've got a nice grip to them. I like the color. Another very collectible knife. The Delica comes in multiple colors: blue, orange, purple, brown. They have sprint runs that have, you know, super steels like ZDP 189, super blue. I think they did one that. They have the titanium Delica. They have the, you know, jigged bone handle Delica. I mean, just a classic design from Spyderco. I'm not typically a huge fan of lockbacks, but I found this knife's actually very easy to deploy, and it's very easy to close one-handed, and that is a must for me. And it's not a problem with the Delica 4. So another great option. $55 on Amazon. I think I paid $30 for this though. So if you look used, and it's like basically in brand new condition. The clip had a little wear on it, and like I said, it was unsharpened. It was very dull. So I just put a nice edge on it. It's pretty much like a new knife. So definitely enjoying the Delica. It's super lightweight. Weighs around 2 ounces. So it's a great EDC knife. Definitely one of the best knives under $100. Next, a bit larger of a knife, the Code Steel Code 4. I did a review on this knife when they very first came out. It was the Tanto version, and I really liked it. Again, not a huge lockback fan, and this is even stronger with a triad lock, but I did find a way to kind of loosen that up a little bit and make it a little bit smoother to open and close one-handed. It's a very large knife. It's got a 5-inch handle, but look how slim it is. I mean, I want to say that you're pretty much as slim as the Delica. Yeah, look at that. So even though it's large and long, it's slim. And it carries very nicely. It's not that heavy. These are aluminum scales. They look like titanium, but they're aluminum. It's got an option for the tip up carry left or right hand. It actually comes with a spare clip that contours with the knife, which is nice. And the knife in hand is very nice. So I failed on the opening. This is the clip point version. They make this in a spear point. They call it a drop point, but it looks more like a spear point to me. The clip point here, and then the Tanto, and they make partially serrated, which I'm not a fan of that. So the clip point is a beautiful, beautiful blade. Really like the really high polish finish on the blade. And like I said, I did loosen up the triad lock, so you can close it one-handed, which is nice. It's not a problem to open it. It's got extremely good ergonomics. Like, pretty large knife. I have a lot of knife hanging out, you know, but I don't feel like it's too big. It's got such good ergos, and these can be had. I think I paid $58 for this, around that, $55 on Amazon. A few different knife dealers sell them for a little bit more. I think they're more closer to $70 on Blade HQ, but they can be had for a very reasonable price. OS 8A steel, A standing for the annealed, that the process that Cold Steel uses on all their OS 8 blades. They actually hold its edge pretty decently for being OS 8 steel. So it's not the highest steel, but it's also, you know, a $55 knife. You can't expect too much out of it. But it's just a great model. I'm not a huge Cold Steel fan, but this triad lock is just so strong, and I can see, you know, why people really like them. But the Code 4 came out as like a alternative to the typical black G10, you know, thick, beefy, overbuilt knives that they make. It's more of a elegant knife. It's a good EDC, even though it's a little large. but it carries really well, and it's just a really good overall knife. So, and they can have under 60 bucks. The next one is the let's go with the Buck. The Buck Vantage Pro. Just did a video on this in my high value EDC video, and it's a great knife for the money. I think I got it for 55-60 bucks. S30V steel, pretty much. Like I said, the only knife you're gonna find with S30V in this price range is probably the Kershaw Blur. That's even a little bit more expensive, and this has the Paul Boss heat treatment on it, so even better. You know, with that heat treatment. Beautiful blade. It's a flipper. It runs on not bearings, washers, so it's not as smooth as it possibly could be, but it's a good knife. I mean, good ergonomics, good size, not too big, not too small. Yeah, really like the Buck. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. This is the Pro that has the G10 scales and S30V. They make less expensive versions of the knife. If I were you, I would just go for the Pro. It's not that much more money. You get a lot better steel. You get G10 handles. That's a great overall knife. It's got the deep carry clip, which I like. You can reverse that for left hand as well. And it's a liner lock. And one thing, I guess it's a good time to point out in this video, is that you'll notice that there's pretty much every type of locking mechanism, minus a button lock, in this video. You got your access lock, or we're getting to access locks next actually. The trad lock, regular lock back from the Spyderco Delica, liner lock, subframe lock on the Blur. You've got the frame lock on the Leak, and another knife coming up, and then you had a non-locking knife with the Alox. So I mean, you have a lot of different locking mechanisms, a lot of different options here, a lot of variety, and all these knives are under $100. So you have, you know, really good options here. Next one is the Benchmade Mini Grip. Very awesome little knife, and I say little. This is the smallest knife in my collection, minus the Alox, Alux Cadet. One of my Swiss Army friends is probably going to correct me on how I'm saying that, so I apologize. Smaller than the Leak, smaller than the Delica, and yeah, the Leak is slightly bigger. So honestly, I really like the Mini Grip. This is not the first one I've owned. This is the OD Green scales. It's got the Adamas deep carry clip on it, which is really nice. It's an easy fit. And it's got the sheep's foot blade. I really like that blade design with the Spidey hole. So, and again, another knife that comes in an enormous amount of variety. Color-wise, black, OD green, tan, yellow, blue. They make sprint runs of it with higher steel, like M4 steel. This is 154 cm. They make the larger Griptilian. All very highly recommended knives. Access lock is a great locking mechanism. It's very smooth. It's completely ambidextrous, unlike most locking systems, because you can use it. You can manipulate it with your left hand without any issues. You can also change the carry clip to lefty. So the Benchmades are all ambidextrous knives. They're very lefty-friendly knives. Probably a lot of lefties like them. This is, I can barely get a 4-finger grip, but I can. I don't have much hanging off, but I have enough grip on there, and I've got some nice jimping here on the thumb ramp, so I can get a good grip on the knife. So it's probably the smallest knife I will buy. Minus, I mean, the Alux is a little bit different type design, but you know, this is probably the smallest I'd go. I like the full-size grip as well. I do find that the full-size grip with these, they're not FRN. What do they call them? They're not Zytel, something with an N. The Benchmade uses. It's a little hollow sounding, so I like the minis better because of that. But I kind of wish it was just a tad bigger. But overall, a great knife. Really like this color scheme with the OD green and the black blade. Looks very good. So, and I paid 70 bucks for this. Now, a lot of these mini grips are going to be closer to $100, and I think they're a little overpriced at that price point. But what I paid 70 bucks, I'm very happy with, and it was new in box. So, Benchmade Mini Grip, another great knife. And again, you're seeing a lot of variety in companies here. And again, made in the USA. The only ones that haven't been made so far in the USA are the Delica, which is Seki City, Japan, the Victorinox, and the Code Steel, which is made in Taiwan. 2 knives left, guys, and we're on about the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, one of the all-time highest-selling EDC knives out there. It is super popular, hard to find these days. I mean, actually, I got an email that Hal's Knife Shop had these for $99.95. This exact variant with the black with the satin blade. So brand new in the box. I got this used for around the same price, so I was kind of like ticked, like dang it. And technically this knife was pretty much in like new condition, and the blade has never been sharpened. It's got its factory edge. I swapped the Delica clip on here just to see how the Delica clip looked on the Para 2 clip looked on the Delica, and this one actually functions just fine. It's black, kind of matches it. I'm going to be getting a deep carry clip for this though, so it's not an issue. But the Para 2 is one knife that I have a love. I don't really have a hate relationship with it. I have a love relationship with it, but I've owned so many of them and I keep selling them. And I think it's because it's probably the easiest knife to sell. If you need a quick $100, bam, you sold it in like 2 seconds on Blade forums, you know, or on even here on YouTube or whatever. It's Instagram. That's where I bought this one, is Instagram. Just an incredible knife, right at the $100 mark. So we're kind of creeping over it. If you get, but like I said, they can be found for $100, whether they be on the secondary market or even like, you know, Hallis Knife Shop right has them right now for $100. So exceptional knife. You do have the compression lock, so another different type of locking system. And I really like the compression lock. My only one complaint, sometimes my fingers get pinched in there if I'm not manipulating it right, but overall that's not a big of a deal because it's a really cool lock. These knives are buttery smooth. I mean, they deploy fast, they close easy. They have great, exceptional ergonomics. It's a bigger knife, but it fits my hand. I mean, gosh. Spyderco, you know what you're doing when it comes to ergonomics. The Delica and this just fit my hand absolutely perfectly. Love this knife. S30V steel. Not going to spend a ton of time on the Para 2 because there's like 1 million reviews on YouTube about it. But this is one of my all-time EDC knives, favorite knives, and it can be had for around $100. Very high quality, nice G10 handles, S30V steel. They made, you know, a billion sprint runs of these with different types of steels, and a very collectible knife as well. I know I've used to have quite a few of these, different variants, and I know a lot of people that collect these knives. And they get a little crazy when you're paying the secondary market price on the sprint runs, but other than that, it's an exceptional knife, right around $100. So the last, and certainly not least, is the ZT566. When these first came out, I've always been a big ZT fan, Kershaw fan, and I loved the 560, but man, it was a big knife, just a little too big. When I heard they were releasing a smaller version, the 566, I was ecstatic. Now, a little disappointed that they didn't go with titanium on the frame. It's a stainless steel frame lock instead of titanium, but as I got the knife and I used it, I didn't really care they didn't have titanium. It's the perfect size. This is de-assisted. This comes with the torsion bar, you know, if you want to have it assisted, but if you take it out, it's buttery smooth knife, just like the Blur, and it's got pretty much the perfect size handle for me. Great, you know, LMAX steel. You're getting high-end steel there. I have stropped a little bit. I haven't had to sharpen it yet. I threw the original black G10 scale on it over that red C-Tech one I sold just because I liked how much slimmer the black G10 is. It's a very slim knife, with considering that it's a Rick Hinder designed, you know, frame lock with the LOBS and, you know, just that typical Hinder design. Just usually a little bit beefier and overbuilt knives, but this one is actually very slim in the hand. And I did a video, not going to spend a ton of time, I did a video called the 566 EDC Perfection, and it really is. It's a little on the heavy side because of the stainless steel frame lock, because of the overbuiltness of the knife, but I absolutely love this knife. I mean, absolutely love it. Now you're thinking, oh, this knife's way over $100. What are you talking about? Actually, I just saw one for sale the other day for $100, and Kershaw guy sells these for $140 on his site, but there's a little note that says contact me for special pricing. They're closer to $100 than you think they are, especially on the secondary market. You can find them for around $100, even brand new, probably $120. So right around that $100 range. You can have them under $100, made in the USA, lifetime warranty with ZT. Hinder design, I mean, here's your chance if you ever wanted to own a Hinderer. Oops, that was the first time I've ever failed flipping that knife. Here's your chance. Great price. You're not going to get the titanium, but you know what? You're paying around $100. You're not going to find too many knives that are made in the US that have high-end steel that are titanium frame locks for $100. I mean, pretty much not going to happen. There's some titanium frame locks around that price range, but they're all made overseas. So the ZT566, saved the best for last. Absolutely one of my favorite knives ever made. They're coming out with this knife in a black wash finish, just like the Leak. Envision in your mind the black wash finish on this. Beautiful. Gonna be awesome. So definitely going to pick that one up as well. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap up the video. You had a great a good variety of knives in this video. You had every knife made either here in the U.S. or by a quality place like Taiwan or Japan. You know, nothing Chinese made. Majority made in the U.S. Made by very reputable companies that have good, good warranties, good customer service. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of these knives, in my opinion. I've been wanting to do it in a video like this because I get asked a lot of times, what's a good knife for this price range? What's a good knife? Well, here you have 10 choices, 10 different knives around the $100 mark or under that you can choose from. So I own all of them. These are all my knives. Will I be keeping all of them? Who knows? Typically, I have knife sales because I want to buy something else. That's what happens. So there may be a knife sale coming up on a few of these models, but definitely enjoy carrying all of them and using all of them, and they're all in my DC rotation. So. Alright guys, I think that's going to be it for the video today. Any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we'll appreciate the likes, appreciate the subscriptions. We're getting closer, just got over 1,600 and I think 40 subscribers around that area, and it just seems like I was at 1,500 the other day, so that's awesome. Creeping up with 2,000, I'll be doing another contest at 2,000 subscribers, so look forward to that, and appreciate the likes and shares, and we'll see you next time.